We're back, though. We're back. Like the dinosaurs, we're back. And I am scared for what today is going to bring, because again, we have finished up a season in which we blew up the damn team, and we might not be done yet. Again, Sidney Crosby essentially requested a trade, so we moved him to Montreal, but he's a free agent. I'd love to bring him back to lead the team, but it made sense to get something. We will likely only do that if he's a free agent. I'd love to trade for him again, but we'll see. We also, of course, have moved on from Evgeny Malkin, and Letang left a year or two ago now. Varg, thank you. We still also have questions surrounding P.O. Joseph and John Marino. Jake Gensel has a no-movement clause for at least 2 more years, so he will, for now, be the face of this team. But, of course, from there, it is just prospects, and draft picks. My screen just went black. Okay, and it's fine. We'll see who ends up making this team. There is a lot of talent competing for very, very few spots. But for now, we still need to sim to the playoffs and see what's going to happen there as the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins win 59 games and make the Calder Cup playoffs again. Again, they won the Cup 2 years ago. So I'm intrigued to see what they can do. And in the NHL, I don't remember. I think we looked at the points. Pretty sure we looked at the points, but in case we didn't, we can use a little refresher. Of course, the team went 14. Oh, Monk with the big 5 gifted. Monkey, we love you. Thank you, buddy. Thank you. The big 5 gifted. Because I whooped that ass in Mario Party. And he is a man of his word.
Oh, we're doing this again. Confetti saved them.
So you look at the standings here to the rest of the way. Devils, Rangers, Jackets, Islanders, and Caps. Is it even worth trying to talk over the alerts? I don't know. But you can see what happened. You can see it. You have eyes, and if you don't, you only listen to this. I apologize. You never know. In the Atlantic, Florida, Tampa, Ottawa make the playoffs. The Leafs miss out. The Sabres were bad. So were the Habs. In the Central, it's Colorado, Arizona, Minnesota, Nashville, Chicago. St. Louis also sucked. And in the Pacific, Edmonton, Anaheim, and Vegas, Calgary, Seattle, and especially San Jose all sucked. Edmonton wins another President's Trophy. And of course, because we went on this mythical, magical run of what, 14-4-1, after blowing it up, we finished 21st. So we won't exactly have the best lottery odds, so it's good. It's good. Everything's coming up Millhouse. We did look at our final team stats. I recognize those numbers. And yeah, we looked at McDavid and Draisaitl and Cale Makar and everything, so ridiculous. So let's see what happens. The playoffs, you have Edmonton, Chicago, Anaheim, Vegas, Colorado, Nashville, Arizona, and Minnesota. You have Florida and the New York Islanders, Tampa and Ottawa, New York and Washington, the Devils and Blue Jackets. But for now, we'll follow along with our boys here in Wilkes-Barre, Scranton. Granted, the last time we followed along with them, they lost, and the time we didn't follow along with them, they won. So we might be jinxing it. Good first game for Graham Swad. Rutger McGroarty has been injured with an injured stomach. Still haven't fixed that, huh? Oh, 2 straight wins now over the Providence Bruins. No sweep. Game 4. Oh my god, boys, please don't choke this. Oh, thank god. They almost got reverse swept. We are the ones who do the reverse sweeping. We do not get reverse swept. They shall play the Charlotte Checkers. And it's super weird still that they're not affiliated with the Carolina Hurricanes, given their branding. But the logo's awesome. I don't know why a polar bear is in Charlotte or a checker. We're down 3-1 in this series. And say goodbye. The curse of winning all the games continues. Because of course it does. We'll see where we're at here. Stanley Cup Final is Vegas and New Jersey. Calder Cup Final, Charlotte and Chicago. So Vegas and New Jersey ends up being the Stanley Cup Final. The Devils are actually the favorite, even though I believe the Golden Knights won last year, didn't they? But Minnesota beat Arizona, Nashville beat Colorado, Vegas over Anaheim, Edmonton over Chicago, then Nashville beats Minnesota, Vegas beats Edmonton, and Vegas beats Nashville. In the East, the Devils over the Blue Jackets, Caps over the Rangers, Sens beat the crap out of the Lightning, and the Panthers beat the Islanders. The Devils beat the Caps, the Sens beat the Panthers, and the Devils sweep the Sens. So, Evgeny Malkin and company in Ottawa, by the way, almost made it to a Stanley Cup Final. That would have been 2 years in a row of players we traded making it to the Cup Final. But it is Vegas and New Jersey, and I want to see what these two teams look like. The Vegas Golden Knights have Patch-Reddy Eichel Stone, oof, Marchessault Carlson, Zach Dean, Lehkonen Patrick, Kolasar, Trennan, Brisson, Okposo. Win it for Kyle. Win it for Kyle. The defense is Theodore Whitecloud, Haig, Pietrangelo, Zadorov, Brody. And in goal, Robin Leonard, still there with the Nil Tarasov. You got Sturm, Hall, and Lindblom. Win it for Oscar. As the healthy scratch is there, and the New Jersey Devils look like this. With Nico Hischier, Jack Hughes, Alex Holtz, Jesper Bratt, Dawson Mercer, Alex Radulov, Bunting, McLeod, Toffoli, Foote, Bastian, Sharangovich. Defensively, it's Smith, Hamilton, Luke Hughes, and Muka Madulin. Orloff and Osterley. Another former Penguin there. In goal, Blackwood and Dawes. I think the Devils made it last year, right? I think so. Maybe. Boqvist, Kuokkanen, and an injured Damon Severson. New Jersey's the favorite, but without Severson, I don't know. I'd have to say I think Vegas is going to win it. I would put up a prediction, but let's just go through it. 6 days to go before I could be getting my very own Grey Cup ring. Nice. Is Shania Twain performing at the Grey Cup again? Oh. Nick, thank you for the follow, by the way. How's your day? Mine's good. I'm doing all right. I overslept today. I'm doing good. Wow, New Jersey's kicking the crap out of Vegas. Okay. All right. Who needs Damon Severson? The New Jersey Devils win the Stanley Cup in 5 games over Vegas as the Charlotte Checkers went all the way to the Calder Cup Final. New Jersey back atop the mountain. Snipe and score. Good morning to you, sir. Was that Vegas's third straight or second trip to the final in 3 years? That's what it was. That's what it was. Jake Fromm starting for the New York Giants. That's how bad it's gotten, huh? Individual awards. Connor McDavid wins another Art Ross trophy, as well as the Hart Warrior. I saw quite a bit of what happened between the Leafs and Jets. Oh, Cale Makar wins his second Norris. Tammy Panarin, his 4th straight Lady Byng. Slavkovsky ended up winning the Calder for the Winnipeg Jets. Not too bad. Terrence, good afternoon, sir. How are you? Conn Smythe to Mackenzie Blackwood. The Vezina to Elvis Merzlikins. He finally got there. Let's see all the unimportant awards and the random awards. Ryan O'Reilly has won 4 straight Selkies. Ted Lindsay to McDavid. Rocket Richard to McDavid. McDavid. AHL, Martin Furk scored the most points. What were the punishments? We decided we had been punished enough, so we're even heading into this offseason. Furk also won the league MVP. Sampo Ranta most goals. Some dude named top rookie. Tyson Barrie, defenseman of the year. How the mighty have fallen. Mr. Gustafsson, goalie of the year. Justin Sordiff, the playoff MVP. Does McDavid get suspended? They already said McDavid wasn't going to get suspended. And honestly, nor should he. I mean, I think they handled it the right way. Hey, you actually, properly penalized him throughout the course of the game by ejecting him from it. It's made a trade at the deadline. Coyotes franchise. Galchenyuk, Fisher, Dzingel for Meyer, Hurdle, Barabon. Oh, Jesus Christ. So you think maybe Hurdle's trade value isn't high enough? All right. So, in terms of contract extensions, we pretty much know, Blomqvist can stay as the backup. But Dustin Wolf has to go. Then again, Blomqvist is now a starter. So, Blomqvist might be going. But Dustin Wolf will be on his way out. And there's not too much else to worry about there. Scrimes might be backup level by the start of next year. Defensively, just a bunch of RFAs. I can't imagine we have any UFAs to deal with outside of like Yandel and dudes who haven't been signed yet. It's all RFAs for the most part. We are in control of what we can do here. So, draft lottery. This is the first part of what could help turn this franchise around. Please God. And we end up with pick number 12. San Jose wins. Basically, everybody stayed the same. Yeah, literally everybody stayed the same. So we have pick number 12 because we completely screwed ourselves by winning 14 games out of our last, 20. Technically 19, I believe it was. In terms of retired players. Oh boy. Nick Backstrom, Eric Stahl, Blake Wheeler, Bobby Ryan, Kyle Okposo couldn't retire as a Cup champ. Wayne Simmons, do we have scouts yet? LOL, no. We have gone through 4 seasons. We have not completed a single challenge. Not one goal on the year have we completed. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Burns, Suter, Giordano, Strawman, Jack Johnson. The big names to retire. And in goal, Brian Elliott, Cam Talbot. Oh, Cam Talbot. 37, though. I guess it makes sense. Thomas Grice. And others. We're never allowed to have a scout. I mean, that's what it feels like at this point. Suter, Burns, and Wheeler all become coaches. And we shall see what happens at the draft. At the draft, as nobody ahead of us aside from Philly wants to trade. So that sucks. That sucks. In terms of the draft picks that we have, we are going to keep the same rules. It's only 7 picks a year. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that is allowed, but oh boy. All right, so yeah, these bottom 5 picks have to go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, those bottom 5 picks have to go. And we might as well look for picks next year. San Jose makes a lot of sense. They were garbage this year. I would have preferred their 3rd. Does St. Louis have their 3rd available next year? I don't know if that'll go through. It probably won't, but let's try. Yeah. All right, let's go back to San Jose because, again, they were trash. And we'll try to get their 4th next year. It's a lot to give up, but in a way it isn't. And there we go. So we'll take the Sharks' 4th round pick next year. And that way we have our 7 picks in this draft locked in. I can't imagine we'll trade up. It doesn't look like it's going to be worth it. You know, the idea of trading John Marino or P.O. Joseph, it doesn't make sense. Like, we'd be looking at an Eastern Conference rival to do that. So I guess that's our first decision made up. And it's made up, excuse me, it's made up for us. As we get into the computer-generated heavy part of the franchise, but Korlock, Hextall, Gavin, Morin, Eklund drops off a bit from there. Montreal could have taken a Ribeiro. Want him again. What a pick for Philly, though. And he's a grinder. Ken Fowler. The most flyer player to have ever flied. And that brings us to our selections. Again, we still have no scouts, nor can we scroll down. So this is where we're at. Tate Martin, Joel Leopold, Serge Rayon, Yuri Habibulin, Nikolai Chubarov, Lincoln Bowl, and Cedric Manderville. One of these players will be ours. Who will it be? I don't fucking know. Oh, let's take a look here. Tate Martin actually did pretty well in Switzerland. Those are decent numbers for a computer-generated player in one of those leagues. Leopold had 72 points in the queue. Why does Lincoln Bowl sound like a poop? Why do you sound like a poop, Terrence? I don't know. It sounds like a presidential shitter. The Lincoln Bowl. Coming soon to a White House near you. Oh, God. So Serge Rayom technically outscored Leopold in the queue. Hobby Bullen had 13 points in what is essentially the KHL. So we could be leaning towards Rayom or Hobby Bullen. Chubarov didn't do a damn thing. Bowl was very good. Compared to Manderville, yeah. So it is either, Bowl, Hobby Bullen, or Rayom. That is what I am leaning towards. Hobby Bullen had 13 points in the KHL. Serge Rayom had, I believe, 79 points in the Q, and Lincoln Bowl did very, very well. Bowl is 17. Hobby Bullen doing that well in the KHL is interesting. Hobby Bullen is a big boy, 6'5", 220. It's a tough call. Chat seems to be divided. I don't really have an opinion one way or another. So you know what I'll do? I will call a timeout. And the Pittsburgh Penguins are now at the point where they are they are taking opinions on who to draft from their fan base. So it is either Rayom, Hobby Bullen, or Bowl. I will leave it up to chat here. Make it snappy. You might have to refresh the stream to have the poll show up. Go for need. We need everything. And they're all forwards. So we need everything. It is either Hobby Bullen, Rayom, or Bowl. I don't think we can really go wrong. The difference might be very, very minor between the players. And Hobby Bullen wins by a landslide. We're already going to call it. All right. That didn't take long. Let's go for Yuri Hobby Bullen. Big boy. And he is a 66 medium top 6 power forward. Not that bad. 85 offensive awareness. Pretty good puck skills category, except for the puck control, which is rough. Good aggressiveness, but he can't really hit. That's not too bad. 93 wrist shot accuracy, but a 70 and everything else. The attributes in this game are incredible. So we take Yuri Hobby Bullen. Let's see what happens now the rest of the way. Martin was 3 overall points better. Rayom was just as good. So turns out Tate Martin would have been the guy to take out of the Swiss League. Leopold was also better. Leopold was the best of the bunch at a 70. Chubarov was a 64. Manderville is 65. Bowl is 65. So turns out good old Joel Leopold was the best of the bunch. But again, all we have to go off of are stats. We have no real attributes to go off of. So hooray. And honestly, most people at this point now are in the same kind of deal. We never saw Frolov, but that's a good pick for Nashville. Damn good pick. But Sayev's a great pick for Washington. So was Grabowski. Yeah, we could have done better there, but we also could have done worse. So what are you going to do? So next up. And whoops. Again, we had Hobby Bullen as our left wing pick. We are allowed 2 left wing picks, but still. Emmerich Holmes. Not too bad. 18 goals, 41 assists. Paul Hartman, absolutely not. I'd be shocked if he's better. There's like no indication of that. Lars Christensen versus Paranikvist. Oh god, they're all garbage. Jimmy Eakin, 17 points. Ugh. You got Wyatt Ennis, 14 and 26. How did that compare to Holmes? And then we have Tony Vickers on the Guelph Storm. I mean, Holmes would be the obvious guy based off of stats. We could draft just to not take 2 left wings, because then we wouldn't be allowed to take another left wing in this draft. But, I mean, it's tough to say that Holmes isn't likely the best option. But on the flip side, dual position players are huge for us, which brings us to Hartman or Christensen. And while I'm concerned about both, it does make sense to go after one of these 2 players for how valuable dual position players are for us. I'm leaning towards Christensen for the sole reason of less ice time, but I mean Hartman's in the W. He should be able to put up more than that. I'm gonna go for Lars Christensen. Let's take the Swede and hope for the best here. Not bad. 63, medium top 6. He was 17 years old. Not a bad way to start off this particular draft. Again, Hobby Boolem was a 66, and we do have our other second round pick here. And it's looking like we made the right choice. Vickers, Eakin, Ennis. We really couldn't have gone wrong. He's an enforcer? A low elite, 63 overall enforcer at 17 years old. We did okay. Couldn't really go wrong. Hartman was the guy, though. Hartman was the guy. That brings us here. There's no indication he'd be good. Exactly. That's why stats don't mean a damn thing. Connor Mickelson, 41 points for the Calgary Hitmen. Yuri Perhorkin, just 2 points, but a plus 10 in the K. Georges Desroches, 21 and 16. Still probably leaning towards Mickelson. Leonardo Thompson, 14 and 25. Still leaning towards Mickelson. Atkinson, 8 and 27 for Guelph. Don Donald! Alright, we're doing it. We're doing it. We have to do it. When in doubt, go for the memes. We're taking our second left wing of the draft. Don Donald. It's got to be done. Good old Don. For the memes. Out of the Mississauga Steelheads, Don. He's only a medium top 9. But we took Don Donald. And I have no regrets. I have no regrets. We got Don Donald. His name is my name too. And honestly, in terms of any better options, not really. A couple of like low 6, low 4s. There was a dude named Delisle, but we never saw his name. Guy Delisle for the Stanley Cup champion Devils. Medium elite Zimmerman at a 62. 19 years old though. It's a bit rough, but good value. Alright, who do we got next here? Round number 3, Lubomir Gaborik. Marco Martins. 31 points. Daryl O'Sullivan. Meh. Cameron Regier. Hagelin. Timofey Kalinin. Or Harold Wall. And honestly, I'm leaning towards Cameron Regier. It's Regier or Martins. Off of what we have to go off of. Regier might be our best bet at this rate. Both are big. Both are probably kind of bad. Take Kalinin. Yeah. Again, it's a pure crapshoot until we earn ourselves some scouts. Let's go for Cameron Regier, who's a medium top 6. That sounds about right. Are there any other steals here? Paulie. Hello. How you doing today? Tarasov is a medium 4. It's not the name that we saw, though. Again, this whole not being able to scroll down thing is a real pain in the ass when we don't have any info on scouts. Medium elite enforcer in Genoway. It's 2 enforcers we've seen already with good potentials. Yeah, all these guys were mediums. Didn't really matter. Who do we have next? We have Mike Witt, 14 and 31. Corbin Ramjagsing, 10 and 23. I'm not allowed to take Witt. We have Keith Agostini, who is a shorter goalie. The Italian Braxton Fedoruk, who is terrible. Marty Quick, who's terrible. And we can't even take those guys. When in doubt, take the goalie maybe? We need a lefty, we need a center, and we need a goalie. Maybe we'll take the Italian, and maybe there'll be a better goalie down the road. Yeah, let's go for Braxton Fedoruk, I guess, out of pure necessity. I want to see if maybe we can get a goalie that's a little bit taller, who wants to be a baller. A shot caller, even. And Fedoruk is trash, and that brings us to our next pick. And we've unlocked Tristan Heinrich and taller goalie, Vyacheslav Semyonov. And I think one Semyonov will be the pick. When in doubt, go for the Russian goalie. But of course, he's a 49. And that brings us to our final pick. We need a center. And there is only one, Sven Karlsson, who is a low 9. Ugh. Well, hey, the first 2 picks of the round or of the draft were good with Hobby Bullen and Christensen. And then we took Don Donald, and it all went downhill from there. We thought we were doing the memeing, and the game said, no, we are the ones who meme, so. We need the biggest softball challenges heading into next season. We really do. We really, really do. So let's see what we got here in the re-sign phase. Dustin Wolf, again, we're going to have to let go of you. I don't think we wouldn't get a qualifying offer. Like, he's been fine. We need somebody better. So we are going to move on from Dustin Wolf. We are going to sign our lovely X Factor Project goaltender and one Nick Scrimes. 6'5", 225 in goal. Longfist. We will qualify. Defensively, pretty much just qualify Jones, qualify McIsaac. Victor Berglund has never really been a part of the plan. He's not that bad. Nick, how's it going, dude? Basically, I mean, with some of the projects we have, I think we need to aim higher than Philip Kral and Nick or Vic Berglund. So I think we're actually going to drop both of these two to make room for the younger guys. We will qualify Emil Vero. Arola, for the hell of it, can come back. Jacky can go. I'm sorry, Arbor, but it's not going to happen. Keith Yandel was a cap whale this year. Christopoulos, it's not going to happen. Nor is it going to happen for Christopher Kyrou. So that is the defensive situation for the moment. A lot of prospects there. On that right wing, what do we got? Cody Clark, Pajaniemi. I got to be honest, I think we can cut both of them and look for other people who might have a higher ceiling. So we will say goodbye to both of them. Left-hand side, we will qualify Sam Poulin. And then, how has 48 done at the NHL level? 21 points in 64 games. That's not bad. We'll keep him around. Gruden was great in the back half of the season. Harvey Pinard has 5 points in 30 career games at the NHL level. And if you factor that out to an 82-game season, that is a 13-point pace. So we will be saying goodbye to Mr. Harvey Pinard, unfortunately. We will qualify Yarventi. I'm fighting off the sneeze. I lost that battle. I lost that particular battle. We'll be signing Sam Oremba, former Seattle T-Bird. Nick, thank you. We can qualify Ansons. Not bad. And then it's center. What do we got? Ronnie Hirvonen will definitely stick around. Ryan McGregor, how have you done at the NHL level so far? Not good enough. It's about a 17-point pace, Ryan. We're going to move on from you. Hate to tell you. Jeff Carter was a waiver claim. We're going to let go of him again. Svechkovsky will come back. Hollander will come back. And that's that. We are going to have all the cap space. All of it. So much cap space. Oremba signs, Scrimes. Let's see what else we got. Hollander, Gruden, Anson, Sejkovsky, Arola. You have unsigned players. Boy, don't I. And they're all qualified RFAs. So nobody cares. Vero signs, and that brings us to free agency. With $49.7 million in cap space, we have consistently missed out on the big fish. This year's big fish forwards, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Patrick Laine, Evander Kane, Matthew Tkachuk, Hellers, Puljujarvi, Aho, Marchand, Bertuzzi. Holy hell. That is a lot of money that these people want. A lot. Defensively, it's nobody really all that good. Gabe, Muzzin, Rathbone, Provorov. There at least isn't, you know, comparable to what Pesci was last year. And then in goal, Shesterkin is the top option. And he, Peterson, UC Saros, those guys are our top target. They have to be. So really quickly, in terms of prospects, Dustin Wolf, Caden Primo, both of whom we let go of before because they weren't that good. Lindbergh in 82. I mean, he was in 81 when we got rid of him. So yeah, unfortunately, Wolf and Primo didn't work out for us. Neither were all that good. And then Lars Pajärvi is way too low of an overall to become anything, and then Blomqvist is already ours. So we have to make that choice of what to do with Blomqvist and whether or not he's the guy, because he is listed as a starter. The other option is to go for Shesterkin. We have to make that choice. But I don't really have faith in Wolf or Primo to be the backup, and they might even go to starter territory by the beginning of the season. Same for Olivier Rodrigue, who is out there and could maybe get a chance, but he's never played NHL. Never played in the NHL. He's never gotten that ice time. Lindbergh wants almost $5 million. Of course, he was half decent in Edmonton. Of course he was. Why wouldn't he have been? And then look, it's Stuart Skinner. Clearly what we need, or who we need, is Stuart Skinner. Damn. Blomqvist going up to starter really kind of screws us up. Defensively, Zach Jones is already ours. I don't think we have any top-notch defensive prospects to go after here. Yeah, we really don't. Leon Bixel's still out there. Who's not that bad. You have Connor Corcoran, who's useful. 79 overall, 24 years old. Could argue whether or not Bixel would even hit that level. Corcoran's not so bad. Luke Prokop's out there. I mean, there are definitely players to sign. I just don't look at any of these defensemen as, yep, those are the guys that are going to save us here. You know, like we gotta be pretty smart now with how we spend this money, and we don't have to commit to big deals yet. We could just wait, bring in cap whales. We're at $47 million, for God's sakes. So defensively, I mean, you're looking at Joseph, Marino, Jones, McIsaac, Salmonson. They're pretty much locked in for now, which is kind of crazy. It almost does make more sense to just see who makes the roster off of who we. It's Marino getting back his X factors. He did fail the goal, so I don't know. Actually, well, no, his goal on the year was to have a better season, and he did have a better season. So I think he was going to get them back, yeah. If I were to trade him, though, I have to trade him with the X factors being up. But I am committing to keeping him on this team, unless there's somebody crazy out there to trade for him. But I don't think that's the case. Actually, I mean, I can just look to see who is out on the block. Yeah, Lalim's not good enough. Hey, look! Arizona's trying to shop Tanner Chino. What do you know? Maybe, Tanner. maybe you should have signed here. Like it would have to be like Mangiapane Plus, which is brutal. John Marino for Andrei Svechnikov. That might be worth exploring. The problem is, they really don't need another defender. At all. That's what happens when I stream too early after waking up. Hello, Crash Andrews. How are we? Yeah, we really... Oh, God. Svechnikov would be amazing, but... Who would we take back? Walker, I guess? I mean, I guess you could argue they still have room for him. 2, 4, 5, and then 6 is a depth. They do still technically have room for him. If we wanted to get rid of John Marino, now might be the right time to bring in Andrei Svechnikov. I can't believe he's available. Is there anybody else? Colborne on Columbus. He's playing for the London Knights. Desmond Colborne. I'd rather go for Svechnikov. I mean, again, Marino, we know, is just a pure defensive defenseman. Got Zach Hyman out there, Dylan Holloway. So it's kind of the argument. Let's leave us and McCollum are out there again. Go for Svechnikov. Philip Deneau's out there. Drew Doughty. Elite Drew Doughty. Now is the time to decide. Ryan Pollock is available. So is Adam Pelech. Now, see, if we were in more of a competing mode, it would make sense to go after either one of the Islanders' top 2 defensemen. It would make sense. But we're just not in a position to do that. We're just not in a position to do that. Chris Kreider's out there, but he's 34. I'd love to get Drew Doughty, but it would count as one of our trades, Crash, and I can't do it. Unless we made a Crash Andrews exception to have Drew Doughty be a cap whale for us. JT Miller's out there, Marchessault, Carlson Pacioretty. Looks like the, oh boy, Crystal Tang. That's rough. How is his value still that high? He's an 80 with that amount. Jesus. It's not solely due to X factors. It's just weird shit going on there. Andrei Svechnikov's value is likely to never be lower. Is he worth the risk for John Marino? He's got 4 years left at 7.75. Marino has 2 years left at 4.4. Again, it's either we give Marino his X factors back and keep him, or we keep them off of him for now. Damn. What do we want to do with John Marino? He's never going to be a big point securing defenseman. He can be a big minute eater. He can hit. He can block. Unfortunately, for those who care, the giveaway takeaway ratio hasn't been great for a defensive defenseman. For Svechnikov. Can't play defense, but the elite offensive awareness, the elite puck skills, power forward, like he is a pure play driving option. But he can't really play defense, and the shooting isn't so good. Just a super high-skilled physical player. Technically younger than Marino as well. Well, Mills, that's what I'm saying, is if I'm trading John Marino, I'm not doing it with his X factors on. Like, that was the punishment, is that he loses his X factors. I don't want to take advantage of it. And as it is, I can still acquire someone like Andrei frickin' Svechnikov for Marino without the X factors on. And that, for the moment, would leave us Joseph on the left, Jones on the left, McIsaac on the left, Solomonson on the right, probably Ralph Brower on the right, and then maybe even Ben Roger will get a chance unless we sign somebody else. Graham Sword could also get an opportunity. Why does Svechnikov have 99 faceoffs? Exclamation point 99 in chat is your answer. Oh, goodness. Do we move on? The one thing I'm worried about with Marino is just how much money is he going to ask for when his deal is up? And do we want to pay a defenseman like John Marino anything more than like $7 million when he's a pure defensive defenseman? He's not a good play driver. His passing is mediocre. Like, he could skate. It's just he's a pure DFD. This might very well be the trade to make. I mean, we talked about the idea of getting rid of Marino or Joseph, and here's the opportunity. You know? Baseball, you have missed a lot, yes. Are you close enough to utilize Svechnikov? No, but I'm also not close enough to being competitive to utilize John Marino. But John Marino is 3 years older than Svechnikov. So, by the time we are good enough, Svechnikov could be good enough to help lead this team. You do have a fair point, Crash. If we trade Marino for outright prospects, maybe it lines up. But at the same time, I'm still not quite sure. He had a down year in Carolina. But you imagine the usefulness of a Svechnikov and a Gensel on the top line with either Otto Stenberg or Dalibor Dvorsky leading the way. One of these two young guys between Jake Gensel and Svechnikov, which could leave like Joachim Kamel and Sam Poulin to be on the second line with the other. I think we have to go for it. I think we do. Hunter, thank you for the follow, by the way. I think we got to go for it. Gives that little bit of extra insulation to the forward core, a super young forward core that needs it. I think we're doing it. And the funny thing is, we still have some value here to pull off if we can.
Oh, good for you!
There is also Jack Drury as an RFA, as Vesson Kuka with the gifted sub. And shout out to Wow, my name is Taken Again. For the follow as well. So, I mean, Jack Drury is out there as an RFA. He's currently listed as a third-line player. He's very well-rounded. We could pick him up for absolutely nothing, basically. He'd be a tack-on in the trade. So, John Marino, an elite defensive defenseman, for Andrei Svechnikov and Jack Drury. I think we got to do it. And indeed we did. So we move on from John Marino, which hurts, but at the same time I think makes a lot of sense. I don't have my phone in here right now, but I'll definitely go grab it in a minute to add that value back. But, man, John Marino was gone. All that remains of that originoriginal defense is P.O. Joseph. Didn't see that coming.